They say the mountains remember. Every whisper of wind, every drop of rain, every footstep that has ever touched their slopes. The Andes keep it all, locked away in their silent, towering walls. But some memories are darker than others. Some are not just memories at all, they are warnings. High in the Peruvian Andes, there are places no map dares to mark. Valleys where sunlight feels weak, where the air is thin but somehow heavy, and where the ground hides more than just stone. Locals speak of one such place in hushed voices, a place they call the Valley of the Dead Sun. It is said that long ago, a great Inca priest performed a ritual there so dangerous, so forbidden, that the gods themselves sealed it away. And at the heart of that ritual was a mask, not just any mask. It was made entirely of pure silver, said to have been forged under a blood moon, cooled in sacred water from a hidden mountain spring, and blessed or cursed with the power to let the wearer see into the spirit world. The legends claimed the mask could open a door between this world and another, and once opened, that door could never be fully shut. For centuries, the mask was hidden away, buried in a tomb, lost to time. The Spanish conquistadors came and went, tearing through temples and villages in their lust for gold and silver, but they never found it. Generations passed. The legend faded. Scholars began to doubt it had ever existed. But in the winter of 1967, an expedition led by Dr. Alejandro Cuellar, a respected but controversial archaeologist, ventured into the high Andes. His team sought an untouched Inca burial site, rumored to hold treasures beyond imagination. What they found should have been left undisturbed. Some say the mask brought them visions, shimmering figures in the snow, whispers in languages no one could understand, shadows that moved when no one was near. Others claim the team began turning on each other, driven mad by something unseen. Within weeks, the expedition was over. Some members returned, but not all, and those who did were never the same. Official reports spoke of harsh weather conditions and tragic accidents. But the truth, as told quietly by locals and buried in forgotten archives, is far stranger. The mask, they say, was taken from the mountains. And from that moment on, a string of deaths and disappearances began, each one stranger than the last. You might think this is just another ghost story, but the deeper you go, the more you find. Fragments of journals, photographs that shouldn't exist, official documents stamped, classified. Even now, there are whispers that the mask is still out there, moving from one shadowy collector to another. And here's the unsettling part. People who claim to have seen it describe the same thing. When you look into the mask's hollow eyes, you see your own reflection. But it's not quite you. The face stares back with eyes like molten silver, and behind it, something else, something waiting. So tonight, we're going to follow this story from the ancient legends of the Inca, through the ill-fated 1967 expedition, to the strange events that continue to this day. And by the time we're done, you might find yourself wondering if the mask is really gone, or if it's closer than you think. The Inca Empire was a world of gold, stone, and blood, a civilization that stretched across mountains and jungles, ruled by emperors who claimed descent from the sun itself. But among their treasures, silver held a different kind of power. It was not simply a metal, it was the flesh of the moon, sacred to rituals of night and death. The silver mask was said to have been crafted in the final days before the Spanish invasion, when the Inca priesthood foresaw the fall of their empire. According to oral tradition preserved by the Quechua, the mask was the work of a single artisan priest named Capaquilla. He worked in total secrecy, guided by visions and voices no one else could hear. The mask, legend says, was made not for a living wearer, but for the spirit of a dead king, a vessel that could anchor his soul in the world of the living. The final ritual to consecrate the mask was said to have taken place on a night when the moon turned red. A sacrifice was made, not an animal, but a man chosen willingly, who walked into the fire with the mask in his hands. In the morning, the mask was gone, and so was the man. But the priesthood whispered that the mask had been awakened. Centuries later, in 1967, Dr. Cuellar was determined to find the mask. His peers called him obsessed. He called it destiny. His journals, recovered years later, reveal that he had been tipped off by a letter from an anonymous Quechua elder who wrote of a silver face buried beneath the ice of Intihuatl, the mountain of the sun's eye. The expedition began in early July. Cuellar and his 6 companions, 2 archaeologists, a photographer, a mountaineer, and 2 local guides, made their way up treacherous passes. From the start, things went wrong. Supplies went missing, weather shifted without warning. The guides whispered of strange lights at night, glimmering on distant ridges. On the 12th day, they found the entrance. It was a fissure in the rock, half hidden beneath a frozen waterfall. Inside, the air was stale and bitterly cold. The walls were carved with symbols no one recognized, spirals, suns, and jagged lines that seemed to shift when seen from the corner of the eye. At the end of the passage lay a small stone chamber. In its center, a pedestal, and on it, the mask. Accounts differ on what happened next. The official report claimed the mask was carefully removed and packed for transport, but Cuellar's surviving notes tell a different story. He wrote that when he approached, he felt a weight in the air, as though the room itself resisted him. The mask's eyes, he claimed, were not empty. They shimmered with a liquid light. Against every instinct, he reached out and touched it. From that moment, things unraveled. The photographer, a man named Luis Ortega, began complaining of hearing voices calling his name. One guide refused to sleep indoors, claiming the walls were breathing. Food spoiled overnight. Compasses spun without reason. By the time they began the descent, the group was fractured. Ortega vanished in the night, his tent still zipped from the inside. One of the archaeologists fell to his death during a climb, though the rope showed signs of having been cut. When the survivors reached the nearest village, they were barely speaking to each other. Cuellar returned to Lima with the mask, but within 6 months he was dead. Found in his study, his face frozen in what witnesses called a look of utter horror. The mask was gone. From there, the trail becomes a shadowy puzzle of black market rumors and museum whispers. The mask appeared briefly in the private collection of a wealthy Chilean industrialist who died suddenly of heart failure at 42. It surfaced again in the 1970s in Buenos Aires, where a collector claimed it whispered to him at night. He was later found drowned in his own pool, though there was no sign of struggle, and then, nothing. Years passed. The silver mask remained in the university's collection, stored in a locked vault, cataloged, photographed, and almost forgotten. Officially, it was just another artifact, an exquisite example of Inca craftsmanship. But among the museum staff, it had another name, La Cara del Silencio, the face of silence. The nickname came from the way the mask seemed to absorb sound. More than one night guard claimed that when they were alone in the vault, standing near it, the hum of the lights, the creak of the building, even their own breathing seemed muted, as though the world outside had been switched off. Then the dreams began. Not everyone had them, but those who did spoke of the same thing. A long corridor of stone, lit by an unseen light. At the far end stood a figure wearing the mask. It never moved, never spoke, but the dreamer always woke up drenched in cold sweat, convinced they had been watched. The incidents were small at first, lights flickering, objects misplaced. But then, one night, the security cameras in the vault recorded something strange. For 7 full minutes, the mask's position on its pedestal shifted slightly, as if it had turned to face a different direction. The footage was grainy, the shadows deep, but those who saw it swore that the mask's eyes glimmered faintly, as if catching a light that wasn't there. Whispers spread through the staff. A young archivist refused to work in the vault after dark. A conservator claimed that while cleaning the display case, she felt a sudden pressure in her chest and an overwhelming urge to remove the mask from its stand. She left her job the following week. In 1984, the mask was quietly moved to an undisclosed location for preservation. The official statement spoke of concerns over humidity and environmental damage. Unofficially, it was because 2 separate employees had vanished within the same year, both last seen in the vault after hours. Today, the silver mask's whereabouts are unknown. The university refuses to comment. Some believe it was sold to a private collector. Others whisper that it was returned to the mountains, buried where no one will find it. But in the high villages of the Andes, among the Quechua elders, the legend has never faded. They say the mask was never meant to be seen by mortal eyes, that it was a vessel, a doorway, a face worn not by man, but by something older. And they say that if you dream of it, it already knows your face. If you've stayed with me to the end of this story, perhaps you've already felt it. That slight chill, that whisper at the edge of hearing. Maybe you've even seen it in your mind, the silver eyes unblinking. The world is full of mysteries like this, stories hidden in dusty archives, whispered in mountain villages, guarded by shadows. And every one of them waits for someone brave enough to pull back the veil. So if you want to hear more secrets, more forgotten legends, more truths that sound like nightmares, then subscribe to this channel, like this video, leave a comment. Tell me, if you found the silver mask, would you dare to put it on, or would you turn away? Before it turned to look at you?